Hello, welcome back. I figured I got the bubbles. Might as well just run it. Go into the Relevant Nat 3 monsters. So, this time I feel like I was rushed a little bit. I don't even know why. I don't know. Don't want to have them 45-minute videos for no reason. I don't really care. I feel like if you were gonna watch this video, you'd want as much information. So I think I'll slow it down a little bit and kind of go over things a little bit more in depth. So this time I'll go over all the relevant 3-star water monsters. Obviously all this is my opinion, so take it with not with a grain of salt, but take it with somebody who's been playing for a decent amount of time, has tested some monsters, not all of them, but I've tested enough. So the first monster I wanted to go over because I love the bastard. I haven't 6-starred him yet, but Shylack, also known as Lapras. I just think the serpents in general are really cool. Like all of them are sort of relevant in some fashion. I still haven't opened a light one yet. I'm getting snored at by one of my cats. It's ridiculous. So I haven't opened a light one yet because I really want to test it. But the dark one's really good. The wind one is a decent tank. And then Shylack, I think, is really good. So Shylack has the AoE attack bar decrease, has the single target attack bar decrease, and then has the first ability that they all have to remove beneficials. Very versatile monster. I love any monster that does damage based on max hit points, just because you could build them super tanky and they still do some decent damage. Shylack, I was testing when I first started the game. He's definitely okay in TOA. You can either build him just really fast, or you can build him to spare and try to. I mean, he only has one AoE, but it's still okay. And he has the ability to, like, in a pinch, he can remove debuffs. He can kind of manage the boss with this, and then manage the entire wave with the third ability. Plus, like the serpents in general, they just look cool. And plus, it's Lapras. Surf that mother into the sunset. You good to go. So I mean, I've seen him used in dragons. I'm sure he could be used in dragons. Just a tanky monster that does some damage and has a lot of utility. Purion, is that Purion? Purion. So I actually built Purion. The one thing I haven't brought up yet is the elemental raids. Purion is very good for is it the water raid? Yeah, water raid. When I was building the homunculus, whatever, the homie, Purion was a monster I 6-starred just specifically just for that, just for the water raid, because it made it so, because the third skill is a 50% attack bar increase, and with the water raid you lose hit points. Let me make 100% sure it's the water raid, but you lose your max hit points based on when he uses the ability. This is the one, yeah. So I think it's this skill. Yeah, freezing air. It makes it so you lose your max hit points, but when you do attack bar increasing things like Bernard, you gain that back. You gain your max. Why am I going in here? I'm so lost. So Purion is somebody I build literally specifically just for that. Yes, it was kind of silly to 6-star a monster just for. I don't know if I've used him on other places because he's just a speedy damage dealer. His first ability stuns. No, his first ability increased attack bar, and second ability freezes. Right? Stuns, whatever, same difference. So he's he has some uses, but yeah, he definitely mostly used in the water raid, but can be used other places. So I have him. I don't actually know if he has runes on him anymore, but he has some uses as a water single damage dealer, as well as the 50% attack bar increase is actually, that's a lot. I mean, I think, what is it? Dark Pyro Captain's the other one that does that. 50%. Is it Dark Pyro Captain? I definitely don't have that, but yeah, 50%. So, because Bernard does 20 or 30, and he does 50, and he's an easy to get monster. So, yeah, I built him for that. What did I write next? Werewolf. I'm I'm a big fan of all the werewolves, mostly because Transmogam got a sweet hat. Cowboys. Not the football team. Not a Cowboys fan. Not even slightly. But he's another one. He's a max hit point based damage dealer. Plus he has a heal and a speed up, and then he has a heal block. I actually think he's really good. He's on the agenda. Plus really easy to skill up. A lot of these 3-star monsters, a big thing is they're really easy to skill them up. Just because you'll just randomly hit a secret dungeon, or Come To Us will give us the secret dungeon over the weekend, or you could just open a bunch of them. You open enough mystical scrolls and you get there. So Werewolf's one that I like most of them. I like the light one, I like the dark one, I like the water one, and I want to try building the fire one, but haven't gotten that far. So he's cool. I think he's okay in PvP, as my cat strolls across the screen. He's really cool in PvP. I think he's probably could be used pretty much anywhere that, not in Necro, but could be used anywhere, because he brings like support heal plus the attack speed, and then he does a bunch of damage based on, plus he defense breaks, right? Yep, defense breaks. The next monster, I don't really want to talk about her. Stall defense, I don't know. I at a premise, I'm not gonna build one just because she's so annoying. I'd rather just build, like, I built my Chloe, and like I'm just crossing my fingers that I open Iona. But she obviously has uses. She's really good on arena defense, and just in the stall. I mean, she's probably. I'm actually happy because Pungbeck's changes. You could just smash her partner and she still gets hit by it. The cat's fighting the garbage. Good effort. So because she's not going to get hit by a crit, Pung will hit the ally and then just hit her for a bunch of damage, and it won't. It'll go. If the shield's there, it's going to have to go through the shield, but you know you're okay with that because it's not going to reproduce the shield. What do I got next? The Pimp Champ, Yaku. I feel like we've. People have put out plenty of videos on Yaku. My dragon speedrun, which next free rune removal I'm going to start working on a little bit more seriously. Verd, Galleon, Tark, Yaku. Had a pretty okay win rate, maybe in the 80s, and that's with some really bad runes on my Tarks. They're just not fast enough. But it's just that his first ability, if you crit, he increases his own attack power. Not so relevant because Galleon will just do that himself. But the second ability does damage based on their max hit points. And then the third ability does 5 attacks at 25% chance to ignore defense. So sometimes that can like almost half health. Depending, obviously RNG plays a big factor. But I mean, look at that sweet helmet. He's just got the Spartan mohawk going on. Oh, not anymore. That's depressing. Now he's got the wings at least. But, I mean, we had the secret dungeon, so he was one. That's the thing I feel like for me, and I don't know if a lot of endgame players this happens to. Maybe the HOH comes around and the SD, like the all-weekend SD comes around, you're like, I'm just going to build that, or build something in the family because I'll have full skill ups for it. I feel like that's where I'm at right now. Mostly because I haven't really opened a Nat 5 that's super relevant, so we're just in that realm. So yeah, he can be used in dragons, maybe giants, but I don't know about that because you don't really want to attack that many times in giants. You don't want to get counterattacked into oblivion. What are you doing? Hello. Do you want to help? You want to help? Say hi. That's not going to work. That's Momo. The next monster we'll go over is Mystic Witch, the Water Mystic Witch. Megan's really good for PvP. Really good for dragons due to the fact that she can remove the buff. The blocking won't help because the tower just removes the debuff and then puts on immunity again. So that won't help. But this ability to increase your attack bar, increase your attack and defense, helps so you can kind of sometimes take a hit. If you have a bunch of dots on, you're still going to die anyway. And then still the ability to put on continuous damage still have some usefulness. So Megan has pretty standard uses in most dragons team. I mean, she's still on my dragons team just because like I said, my speed run's not so good. I would never get rid of any Mystic Witches just because I like a few of them. They're interesting. I feel like the light one I built literally just built her because she had 2 AoEs, and I was like, and she's neutral damage, so I was like, I'll try her out, and so I use her in just secret dungeons and stuff. So yeah, Megan is good for PvP. It's the Bernard Megan Devolution team that everybody has to plan for, and then she's also good in dragons. What's next? Grim Reaper. In the last video, I talked about Sath a little. I like Hemos because there's a lot of stages in TOA hard, even if you're, maybe TOA normal, but probably TOA hard, where he's really good because you get punished for critting, and Hemos' second ability actually doesn't hit. So in his max skill, I believe it's 100%, and you just put 2 dots on everybody. So against like the Yetis and the Werewolves, where you're going to have a lot of issues with critting, and then they can go a bunch of times, or they do a bunch of damage to you, just putting a bunch of dots on them with Hemos is pretty solid. If you have the Dark One does the same thing and then has the AoE stun. So the Dark One's better, but I had a 5-star Hemos built specifically just for just for those TOA levels. Every time I keep forgetting to throw a little bit of, I'll just throw a little bit of music on. Set the mood. The moist mood. There we go. So yeah, Hemos. And then his third ability, you can freeze somebody. So he was kind of interesting just because you could put a bunch of dots on, and then if, like, I was using the Spectre Gildong Mav combo, if one of them misses, he could freeze whoever was missed. Plus with Mav, I think it goes down every 4, and then so it goes down every 3 or 2. I forget exactly, but the cooldown is very low, so you're just stacking dots on. The one thing that you need to pay attention to when you're using somebody like Hemos and that kind of combo is you only get 10 debuffs. So if you stack 10 continuous damage, well, you're going to obviously kill them in 2 turns. You can't stun them at that point in time. So that's something that I know screwed me once, where I put too many dots on or something, and then they ended up unable to be stunned. They got a turn and then killed me. So that's Hemos. Hemos can be built. We didn't talk about builds, but sorry. The Arena is just all hit points, the Epicon Priest. Yaku, he is standard damage dealer, and then so Yaku, standard damage dealer. I think mine's Rage Blade. Megan, Swift, whatever, as fast as you can with enough accuracy. Who'd I miss? Hemos I had on, well, I have Thrain now, but Hemos I had on Violent Shield. I think I had him speed, hit point, or speed, hit point, accuracy. It doesn't really matter. You just need to, I think I had him on shield. I don't know why. I never let them. I guess in the off chance they got a first turn attack, but Arena is all hit points and not 100% resistance, just annoyingness. Yeah, just root it. Annoyingness, offset, more annoyingness. This monster drives me nuts. Lapras, we went over that one already just as much. You can either build him hit point, crit damage, hit point, or speed, hit point, hit point. If you want him to do a little more damage, you want him to be a little more tanky, depending on what you want him to do. My Purian was built speed, crit damage, attack. What did I miss? Vigor. He's another one. You can either build him speed, hit point, or hit point, crit damage, hit point. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. Forgot about rune builds. What are you going to do? Next one I have is, well, I'm thinking about building soon. It's getting to that point. Talc. For the life of me, I just can't open Basalt. It's coming to that point where I'm considering just building Talc. It's been 17 months. I've been playing pretty hardcore for 17 months or 18 months, something in that range, and I haven't opened up Basalt. Obviously, it's unlucky, but it happens. But Talc is very good for specific monsters. He has the same ability, the same second ability as Basalt, where he heals based on max hit points, increases defense, and then he taunts in the first skill. But his third skill is a little different. He just takes half the damage if it's less than 20% of his hit points. So if he's being built like really tanky, that will come into play. So he's a good he's a good water tank against, if you know they have specific wind monsters that are just gonna be going after him. He puts the defense buff, and then he could take a hit. One day Elven Basalt. This is one of those monsters, like I have like, I don't know, 30 mammoths just sitting in storage. But Talca is a good healer. Can be used early game for pretty much anything, for TOA, for dragons, for giants, because of the defense buff. Pretty useful monster. You could build him swift. You could build him just straight energy. You could build him, I mean, pretty much anything. You want him speed, hit point. You want him to be as fast as possible with as many hit points as you can get him. Welcome to Talc. He's the Ghetto Basalt. He is cool looking though. And then the last one. So there's a lot less, not a lot less, but there's since we talked a lot in the other video about monsters that you need for skill ups, I'm not going to talk about it in this video. But the last one is the Cowgirl. Sarah. I was going to say Cassandra again. Sarah's cool because she's gettable, farmable with guild points, and she's like the perfect necro monster. I haven't fine-tuned her exactly the way I want her, but her first ability does multi, second ability does multi, and third ability does 6. Plus she has the attack power leader in dungeons, which I feel like I'm having a problem with, like finding a leader that actually works, because I use Hua right now. My necro team's Hua, Fuko, Rigel, Xiaolin, and Colleen, and I have been trying her because of the multi-hits, but I think she's too squishy. So that's my standard necro team, but I was trying it with Sarah. At some point I'll do some gameplay with some monsters, maybe some of the 3-star monsters. But Sarah's really good because the multi-hits, and she's very farmable. The problem is she takes a while, like a whole while to get, because where is she here? So it's 10, you need 40, so it's 800 guild points for each skill up. Obviously you got to hit the Sarah, and then it's 800 guild points for every skill up. So I had been skilling her up, but it's definitely a big, you know, you should do the Freeds first before you even consider doing Cowgirls. It's not even in the realm of things you want to be thinking of. But she's a cool monster, plus she looks cool. Let me go over the monsters. So here's my Sarah. It's got some crit rate. Violent Revenge. Pretty much every monster I have that is for Necro is Violent Revenge, I believe. Except my Xiaolin, just because I haven't got around. I need to fix her runes. So that's my Yaku. I think he's broke. No, he's rage broken. Attack, crit damage, attack. I should level that rune. But his stats are pretty good. And like I said, I used him in the Speed Dragons team and did a considerable amount of damage. There's my Purian. It's probably unbroken. It's unfatal broken. I don't even know why. I guess he's still there just because I use him in the water raid. Because now that they lowered the cost of the runes, the crafting of runes, it's definitely useful for me too. And they came out with the reappraisal stones, so it's definitely useful to farm those materials. Do I have anybody else? Megan, how did I miss you? Swift, nothing. Yeah. So that's pretty much the video. I wanted because I have time tonight. I wanted to do 2 videos. I'll probably go crash. I mean, it's like super late right now. I'll grab probably this weekend. I'll do 2 more. I'll just do all 3. We'll go over wind and then the light and dark. Light and dark will be a little different, just because, like I had said in a few different videos, you pretty much always want to keep the light and dark monsters, just because you never know when things are gonna get buffed and they're harder to get. Like I think I pretty much am. I pretty much have everything that's not basalt. But in the off chance something gets buffed, you want to still have a copy of it in your inventory. Why do I have 2 marbles? I think I've gotten 3 marbles. They're just taunting me at this point. But like, so for instance, she got buffed, and it's a random monster. I think it's Mara. I actually forget her name. But it's such a random monster, but it still got buffed. Now I'm gonna build it. So something, like I said, you want to keep a copy of everything. So that's it. That'll be the water monsters for now. I'll be back probably this weekend. I'll go over wind and then light and dark. If you have any questions, opinions, just leave a comment in the comment section or like and subscribe. Once again, this is Jesse from Baited Gaming. Have a good night.